I'm not a suspicious guy by nature. I'm not one of those dudes who checks phone screens over shoulders or keeps tabs on how long a hug lasts at family barbecues. I've worked with drywall for a decade. I leave the drama to people who don't have to carry 20-pound buckets of compound every morning. But let me tell you something. When you've been with someone long enough, you just know. Like muscle memory. Like when the mud on a joint ain't mixed right, you don't need to test it. You feel it in your bones. That's how I felt the moment I opened the passenger door of our Hyundai and saw the tag. A little white rectangle, dangling from a pink and gold purse my wife borrowed from a chute. I wasn't snooping. I was reaching for the receipt she told me she left in there from our grocery run. But instead of finding a crumpled piece of paper, I found a dry cleaner tag. The kind they staple onto expensive stuff you don't want to ruin. Except it didn't have her name on it. Or mine. It said, for Blake Hawthorne, navy blazer, size 44R. Pick up with silk blouse. I don't wear a 44R. I'm a 42L. And I sure as hell don't dry clean silk. Now, you might think that's not enough to sound the alarm. Maybe it was from a chute. Maybe she picked it up for a friend. Maybe she forgot to toss it. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe it was the smug little smile she gave me the night before when I came home dusty and sore from crawling under a crawl space all day. The kind of smile that says, I have a secret, and I'm not telling you because I don't think you'll get it. Maybe it was that. I put the tag back where I found it and didn't say a word. For context, my wife, Rachel, just landed what she called her dream gig, working as a freelance fashion consultant for local influencers. Basically, she helps micro-celebs pick outfits and then takes pictures of herself pretending to do it. At least, that's how I saw it. But I smiled and nodded and told her I was proud, even if I didn't fully get how a six-figure marketing degree landed her in a hobby that paid in Instagram DMs. Lately, though, she'd been busy. Always out on client runs, wardrobe pickups, or mystery styling appointments that took her to boutiques I couldn't pronounce. I didn't mind. I like having the house to myself sometimes. But this damn tag was gnawing at me. So, I did something I've never done in our 8 years of marriage. I called the number printed on the bottom. Golden Hanger Dry Cleaners. How can I help you? Hey there, I said, doing my best smooth talker voice, the kind I usually reserve for coaxing old ladies into signing drywall job contracts. I'm calling about a pickup for Blake Hawthorne? Yes, sir. It's ready. 1 blazer, 1 silk blouse. Perfect. And remind me again, was that my girlfriend's blouse or mine? I said it like a joke. Like a casual laugh line. There was a pause. Then the guy on the phone chuckled. Your girlfriend's. The pink one, right? MHM. That's the one. Thanks. Click. I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel rage. What I felt was cold. Like I'd been dropped in an ice bath. Because it wasn't the fact that she was cheating, it was that she was making me part of the logistics. Using our car. Our address. Our routine. Like I was just some background prop in whatever curated romance she was staging. So I sat with it. Let it settle. Went through the usual cycles. Denial, anger, mockery. The mockery helped. I imagined what this guy must look like. Some dumb influencer who wears bracelets and calls his shirts pieces. Probably takes 2 hours to pick socks. I wanted to confront her, but what would I say? Hey babe, remember that dry cleaning tag you didn't know I saw? Turns out your blouse buddy isn't me. Nah. Too easy. Too clean. And honestly, I wanted her to walk right into it. I wanted her to think I was clueless. So I started paying attention. I started checking the laundry bag she left in the hallway. Scanning tags. Matching boutique receipts. And sure enough, every time she had a wardrobe pull, there were new items that weren't her size. Men's jackets, dress shirts, cologne samples tucked into tote bags. All labeled for clients. None of whom ever made it to her public-facing posts. Then came the live stream. She told me about it like it was a career milestone. I'm styling a local celeb for a collab shoot. We're doing a live unboxing to show off the sponsored wardrobe. Big numbers, babe. That's when I knew. That's when I started sketching my plan. Because Blake Hawthorne, yes, I finally looked him up, wasn't just a client. He was a verified, blue-check, fake-deep, lifestyle coach who once got mildly famous for dating a contestant from a reality show. He was tall, tan, empty. The kind of guy who probably sips cucumber water and calls it hydration therapy. And here's the kicker. He was also dating someone else. Publicly. But that didn't stop him from showing up in her consultations. Always just outside the camera's view. Always just out of frame. Until I made damn sure he'd be in full focus. Because you don't screw over a contractor who builds things for a living. We learn how to take things apart, too. And Blake's nice, navy blazer? It was about to deliver one hell of a message. That night, like clockwork, Rachel walked through the front door and tossed her tote bag into the corner. Not the dramatic entrance with smiles or kisses. Just in. Hey, she said, checking her phone. Live preps tomorrow. Right, I replied, pouring a beer from the fridge. Clean lines. No emotion. I sat at the table, beer in hand. Eyes on nothing in particular, a dusty corner of the ceiling, her lunch bag, the tag still on the table. She kissed my cheek, still smiling. Unaware. The breeze shifted, something subtle in the house felt unbalanced. After dinner, she disappeared into the study, closing the door softly behind her. That's when I started digging. Now, I'm not tech-savvy in an elite way, but I know enough. Junk email lists, cloud folders, timestamp markers, search histories, little things add up. That night, I browser hopped through her email account, because she's been logged in on my machine for God knows how long. And there it was, a string of new contacts buried under wardrobe clients. Among them was Blake Hawthorne. No blue check, no celebrity whiff, but definitely a private Instagram with modeling shots and brand partnerships. Also, a calendar invite. Wardrobe picking with Blake, 3 p.m. Friday at Golden Hangar. It outlined an address. Same dry cleaner. Same time I called pretending to be Blake. That invoice he picked up, it was real, logged. Everything matched. My plan started loading like an old work truck engine. Slow, calculated, dependable. I spent the next day collecting clothes. Jeans, t-shirts, blazers, button-downs, anything in Rachel's closet that didn't fit me. I didn't touch her expensive stuff. Instead, I chose things that looked like Blake's style, hip, pared down, influencer ready. She'd need wardrobe for the live shooting, right? New looks, new content, new lenses. At dusk, I drove to the dry cleaner under a false name. I booked an extra pickup under Max Buchanan. I said it was for client leftovers I forgot. Pick up the navy blazer, but leave the blouse. The guy nodded, recognized me, but didn't say a word. He handed me a bag with everything inside, including the original tag. I didn't open it. I just said thanks and walked out, like a normal guy grabbing his clothes. Back home, I opened the bag in the garage. I laid everything out on my workbench. Blazer, blouse, a ring of cologne in the pocket, a faded insurance card with the name Braden Clark. Not Blake's. Another alias? Maybe. But it didn't matter. Every piece of evidence was telling the same story. There was a secret life inside my house. Now the work started. That weekend, Rachel announced the live stream, a weekday promo posted on IG stories. Tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. Big wardrobe drop with at Blake Hawthorne. I didn't watch. Instead, I planned. When I got to work on Monday morning, drywall deliveries, job estimates, work calls, I also created a presentation slide, faux screenshot of the wardrobe spread, a side-by-side of our two last names, and a cringe-level caption. Rachel styling Blake. Again. Take one. Worksheet is simple. Reveal before reveal. I printed it as crisp as job blueprints, in A3 color, folded down into a crisp trifold panel. Fold tops to fold so it looked neat. I rehearsed the reveal in my head during the cement pour that afternoon. By the time Wednesday rolled around, I had two things ready. The wardrobe bag with a new tag stitched on top of the old. For public closet reveal contains evidence. The printed panel folder. Live day. At 5 p.m. I sat in the living room, half watching a game show rerun because I never learned how to sit still. My phone pinged, going live in 10 minutes. I grabbed a beer. The router hummed. At 6 p.m., I heard the quiet click of the front door. Rachel wore neutral makeup, big sunglasses, a tight ponytail, dressed to deliver $5 fashion tips to 50 viewers. She greeted Blake in our living room. He was already there, smirking before the camera. I watched through the hole in the hallway. You guys ready? She said, spinning to reveal the clothes rack I'd assembled with her clothes, some thrown over hangers. She looked excited. I remember noticing how lit she was, like a kid opening a new phone. Then I stepped out, holding the bag. The tag clear as daylight. Here's the wardrobe, I said. Voice steady. The live stream paused. The rack stopped swinging. Blake looked at me, confused, amused, insulted. Rachel froze. Camera stayed live. I unfolded the panel board the same way I opened drywall estimations, no theatrics. Slide 1. Tag, highlighted red box. Slide 2. Calendar invite, timestamp clear. Slide 3. Bag contents, blouse, cologne, card. Rachel's face. I've never seen someone go from high to broken in 6 seconds, but that one was a sight. Be cool, I told myself. I thought maybe you wanted to style for a friend, I said. Until I found the calendar invite, Blake at 3 p.m. at Golden Hangar. He grabbed the bag, looked inside, pulled out the blouse. Camera zoomed in. In through our front door, I added, then straight to really empty showroom. Her voice cracked. You can't do this, she whispered. Looks like she realized the audience wasn't hers. Blake held the blouse. You two dating? He asked, voice casual. Then got quiet. Camera stayed live. Comments were blowing up. I nodded. Looks like I saved you a question, I said to her. I thought I'd just deliver. Blake dropped the blouse. I held up the panel. Your turn, Rachel. She didn't move. She looked at me. At the camera. At Blake, whose sponsored deal was still loading. She swallowed. This isn't what you think. But it didn't land. It came out thin, dry, like an outdated lipstick. That was power. That was betrayal. That was the track I needed her to hear. The camera wavered. I clicked the panel closed, dropped the bag, and walked out. Live ended. Blake stared. Rachel turned white. I didn't go back. I drove to the job site, got on the lift, and thought, betrayal is like drywall. You think it's hidden, but one wrong screw, and the drywall snaps. I wanted closure, but got exposure. Either way, I heard the crack. I spent that night with the echo of my own words playing replay in my head. Rachel's gasp when I slid the wardrobe bag across the table, the camera catching Blake's confusion, the hush that followed. Live, no takebacks. I didn't stick around to watch the aftermath unfold. I drove straight to the job site, stepped off my truck, and set my tool bag down with a sigh heavy enough to bury a whole drywall room. That echo felt foreign. Not regret. I didn't regret it. But not triumph either. Just aftershock. Work was quiet for a few days. Too quiet. My coworkers shot concerned glances my way. I could feel the curiosity dripping off their skin. One of them messaged me, saw your Instagram story, are you okay? I deleted it before breakfast. I didn't want pity. I needed distance. Back home, I patched up the drywall sheets I'd left stacked in the living room. Closed off the guest room where Rachel had staged her live stream setup. Even the closet got a look over. I found her blouse still hanging inside, untouched. I moved it to the garage, draped over my workbench. As I walked away from it, I felt like I was walking away from our marriage. She texted me Wednesday morning. We need to talk, it said. Plain. No punctuation. I stared at it. Read it 3 times. Then I replied, sure. After work. At 6 p.m., we met in the empty guest room. No cameras, no distractions. Just the house between us and 2 flannel-seated chairs facing each other. She looked smaller. The ponytail was gone. Hair loose around her shoulders. No makeup. Her eyes were puffy, the same shade they get after crying too long. Why did you do it on live stream? She asked, voice gravel. Because you were using our home like it was a showroom. Our lives like a prop story. I wanted real viewers to see real truth. She closed her eyes. Sighed. You hurt me. Yes. My voice cracked. I took a second. I needed you to stop lying. She shook her head. I didn't think you were paying attention. I always was. That silence stretched out, turning corners. Finally, she said, what now? She didn't ask why. She asked what next. The barest sign she understood the wreckage had a future. I had no script. Just truths. We separate, I said. Calm. We file. We divide. We take our halves and rebuild. She blinked. No. Reconciliation? I shook my head. Not right now. Her shoulders tensed. You're ending it. Yes. Tears rolled down her face. She crossed her arms, leaned forward. Do you hate me? I swallowed. The drywall would have cracked deeper than this. No, I said. But I don't trust you anymore. She looked away. Trust can come back. Maybe, I said. But not tonight. We sat. Quiet and still. She sniffed once. I'll move out. I'll help, I said. Take whatever you need. She nodded. Thank you. We stood. I left first. She paused, then stepped out behind me. I closed the door quietly. I didn't look back. The next morning, I drove to the lawyer's office, same one I used for small claims and car title transfers, and dropped off a signed separation agreement. Typed out 0 drama, 0 accusations. Just who got what and when we'd start co-ownership dissolution. I added a clause, no mention of ongoing live streams, social media attacks, or defamation of wardrobe reputation. Basically, keep media out of it for our own sakes. She got the email and called to schedule a signing for Friday. No, I'm sorry. No, maybe we can try again. Just administrative calm. I went back to life. Drywall, yard work, grocery runs. My coworkers asked if I was doing better. I'd shrug. Getting there. And I was. Not whole. Not healed. But unburdened of a secret I'd carried as a weight in my throat. Friday afternoon, I met her at the lawyer's office. It was antiseptic. Cold coffee. Paper tables. We sat across each other in identical chairs, signing separate copies of the same document. She looked tired. I felt tired. By the time we both were done, she reached across and touched my hand, not in romance, not in anger, but in something closer to release. I hope you find what you're looking for, she said. Me too, I replied. Voice truth without energy. We walked out separately. I drove home and immediately set to work in the garage, patched holes in my drywall storage, organized the shelves, made space. On the workbench still lay her blouse, folded neat like evidence in a file folder. I stared at it, then moved it to a box marked donations. Clothes have shaped memory. What's inside them can whisper for years. I didn't want to hear them anymore. Saturday morning, the house felt different. Quiet, but clean. Everything I didn't need was gone. No blouses, no live stream rack, no tags. The framed vinyl from part 1 in the corner, still saying loyalty, looking like a monument to a life I once lived. I sat at the kitchen table and poured coffee. Felt the sun at the window. No curtain, no shadow. I opened my notebook, the one where I sketched roofing details, measurements, quotes, and wrote on a fresh page. In plain sight, rebuild. I wrote a plan. New job bid next month. Maybe apprentice as a plasterer. Yard project. Pay off bills. Maybe take that pottery bowl and make another Messier. Better. Life, I realized, isn't about detention. It's about the next class. Sooner or later, you walk in when the bell rings. I felt the bell. Because now, this was mine to build. 2 days after I picked up the dry cleaning, I spent the better part of the afternoon prepping. This was the part most people mess up. They go in angry, impulsive, emotional. Not me. I was surgical. Calm. Focused. I needed to time the drop perfectly. Couldn't risk her catching wind of it beforehand or having time to clean up the mess before it got public. The trick was to be anonymous, invisible, but impactful, like pulling the pin and letting the grenade roll across the floor on its own. First, I boxed the blazer back up in its original dry cleaning plastic and wrapping. That little sarcastic tag I added, pressed into the inner lining like it had always been there. No marker, no tape, nothing messy. Just heat-pressed fabric lettering with the message. Hope he's worth the dry cleaning bill. Your husband. Then I slipped the note into the suit pocket as backup. In case he didn't notice the tag right away. In case she tried to lie again. And believe me, I was counting on it. I wanted her to lie. The fallout would be worse. I resealed the packaging, added a typed label with her name on it, and drove it to the location where she'd be shooting her next fashion reveal livestream. A co-sponsored influencer event hosted in one of those rented boutique studios downtown with perfect lighting and fake plants. She posted the event link on her stories a few days ago, thinking I didn't follow her burner accounts. She forgot I built her digital footprint when she started this fake job. She didn't know what I still had access to. The front desk girl didn't even ask who I was. She assumed I was part of the team. She took the box, smiled, and said she'd leave it in the styling prep room for the 7 p.m. segment. That gave me 5 hours to get home, set up the stream on the TV, and get comfortable. Now, about him, the guy. The blazer wasn't hers. It was his. I confirmed that with the dry cleaner when I called pretending to be him. Said my girlfriend had dropped it off by mistake and I wanted to confirm the name. He gave it to me right away. No questions asked. She'd been styling him for weeks. Always talked about this vague client who needed help building a brand. She made him sound like some lost kid with too much money and no fashion sense. Turns out, he wasn't just some no-name micro-celebrity. He had a small but loyal following, some minor brand deals, and a smile so insufferably cocky I wanted to slap it off his face through my screen. I'd seen the live stream promos. He was going to be there with her. They'd be styling each other. Cute. When the clock hit 6:55 p.m., I poured myself a drink, turned the lights off, and sat in front of the living room TV like it was the Super Bowl. The stream loaded. Chat was already flying. Hundreds of viewers. Mostly thirsty fans who probably had no idea the guy was screwing someone else's wife. She walked on camera first. Stunning, as always. That was part of the problem. She knew how to use her looks like a scalpel. Her voice was syrupy sweet. Her laugh? So fake it made my teeth itch. Then he came into frame, all charming and casual. They joked, they flirted, they teased the audience. Then she said it. Okay, so this next look is my personal favorite. This blazer just arrived from a private stylist. No labels, no logos. It's all about the fit. She turned to him. Want to do the honors? He opened the box, pulled the blazer out, held it up, and paused. She didn't see it yet. He flipped it. Read the inside. His mouth moved. No sound. Then he squinted, reached into the inside pocket, pulled out the note. Read it. Her face froze. He turned to her, whispered something. She laughed, awkward, confused, then snatched the note from his hand and read it on camera, out loud. Hope he's worth the dry cleaning bill. Your husband. The chat exploded. People thought it was a prank, a skit, something planned. It wasn't. He backed out of frame. She tried to play it off. Said she didn't know how that got there. Said it must have been some troll. But the damage was already done. The stream ended abruptly. Within an hour, clips of the moment were all over social media. Tagged. Shared. Frozen in time. And me? I didn't smile. I didn't toast. I just sat there. Quiet. Because sometimes, revenge isn't loud. It's a single sentence. Stitched in silk. And I wasn't finished yet. The night before the live stream, I couldn't sleep. Not out of nerves. That part was long gone. I'd already committed to the plan, printed the note, ironed it onto the inside pocket of the blazer with cheap transfer paper, and rehearsed the timing of my delivery. No, I couldn't sleep because I kept picturing her reaction. Would she cry? Would she fake confusion? Or would she do what she always did, turn on the charm and talk her way out of it? I was betting on the last one. But this time, the cameras would be rolling. And unlike our private arguments or carefully sanitized social media lives, there would be no deleting this. No spin. No misunderstood context. She'd scheduled the live stream at a boutique studio uptown, borrowed from a local influencer friend who owed her a favor. I knew the address. I'd already been there earlier in the week, dropping off the surprise delivery with the receptionist who thought I was from the sponsors team. She never even asked for ID. The blazer was in a branded garment bag with her name taped across the front, and the box of accessories set neatly beneath it. Inside was the note. I didn't overthink it. I didn't write a monologue or a confession. Just one sentence, printed in bold on a white linen tag. Hope he's worth the dry cleaning bill, your husband. Tucked right under the blazer's inner label. Not visible unless you opened it up. But she would. She always did this thing during her styling sessions, where she talked about the feel of luxury and pulled garments close to show the stitching. She'd even bragged about how her touch made basic items feel like couture. Perfect. Let her touch that. The live stream started at 7 p.m. I had it pulled up on the TV, popcorn in hand. There she was, front and center, all smiles and soft lighting, standing next to the guest of the evening, none other than him. Yep, him. Mr. #brand ambassador. Mr. Local legend. The one with just enough fame to get invited to events but not enough to avoid scandals. He looked confident, relaxed even. She wore a fitted navy dress that I'd bought for her on our last anniversary, like some cosmic punchline. They laughed, flirted with that annoying influencer casualness. Then she said the line I'd been waiting for. And now, for my favorite new look. This incredible wool blend blazer just dropped this week, and it's so flattering. She turned toward the camera, then to him. Go ahead, she said. Try it on. He reached for the garment bag. I leaned forward. He unzipped it, pulled the blazer out, then turned it around in his hands. She smiled at the camera. And the best part is... But she didn't finish. Because he was staring at the inside of the jacket, brows furrowed. He turned it toward her. And then the angle shifted. She caught a glimpse. Her hand shot up to grab it from him, too late. Her smile cracked like glass under heat. I could practically hear her pulse from my living room. He read it out loud. Hope he's worth the dry cleaning bill, your husband. Dead silence. No music. No witty comment. Nothing. The chat on the live stream exploded. Someone in the comments posted, did he just read a divorce note? Another said, yo, is this real? Her face? A full meltdown caught in 1080p. She tried to laugh it off, stammered something about a prank, but Mr. Local Fame looked like someone had slapped him across the jaw. He stepped back, muttered, you said you were separated, and left the frame. She reached for the camera, But the moderator didn't cut the stream fast enough. Wait, don't end it. This isn't. Click. Black screen. I don't remember breathing. I sat there, motionless, as the stream went offline. My phone vibrated like it was trying to break free from the table. Notifications from friends, coworkers, even my sister, who texted, "Holy S asterisk. Was that live?" Yeah, it was. By the time the video got re-uploaded, not by her, of course, but by a dozen screen-recording vultures, the damage was irreversible. The sponsor issued a public statement by noon the next day, severing ties with both her and Mr. Local fame. The caption read, "We stand for honesty, loyalty, and professionalism. We do not condone personal misconduct that compromises our values. In other words, enjoy being broke." She called me 6 times. Left voicemails, some apologizing, some furious, some pretending to still be confused. I didn't answer. Not yet. Because I wasn't done. The funny thing about live streams is how fast they go south when reality barges in wearing a mic. Virginia had just gone live for her Style Plus Soul segment, all prepped and glowing in that way she does when she thinks 1,000 people are watching. She'd stacked her backdrop with soft whites, flower arrangements, and tastefully arranged books she's never read. The lighting was flattering, ring light dialed to angelic influencer glow. And there, in the spotlight on the garment rack, was the blazer. Not my blazer. Not my name. Not my size. But I'd added something new to it. The stream had maybe 200 people watching when it started. That number wouldn't hold for long. She opened with her usual energy, falsely humble. "Hey everyone. I'm so excited to finally reveal this week's curated drop. We're bringing classic structure back, power, confidence, elegance." She ran her fingers across the sleeve of the jacket like it was something sacred, then lifted it from the rack with reverence. "And this beauty here, oof, you guys are not ready. This one is straight from Milan. Wool silk blend, tailored just for you." She paused. She'd finally looked at the tag, the one I had swapped out. It no longer read Derek 42R. Instead, in big, black Sharpie-eyed written, "Hope your sponsor likes cheaters." You could practically see the blood drain from her face on screen. Her jaw tensed. Her eyes darted off camera, maybe looking for the original tag, or maybe for a way out. But there wasn't one. She tried to recover with a laugh, the kind that works when you trip in heels and pretend it's funny. "Haha, okay, well someone's been having fun with my samples." But then came the second wave. In the comments, names started flying. "Wait. Derek? As in Derek Slate. That's his jacket. Girl, the one from the GQ spread. Check her tag history. That's the same date as that weekend he was off-grid." I knew it. This is why his fiancée dropped off social. The live viewer count shot up like a rocket. And then, right on cue, it happened. One of the moderators in the chat, clearly from the sponsor brand, posted, "This stream is being reviewed. Sponsorship on hold pending investigation." Boom. Just like that, the biggest deal she'd ever landed was gone. A 6-month contract with a luxury men's label, poof. All because she couldn't keep her story straight. Or her pants. I watched it all unfold from the garage, eating leftover Chinese and sipping from the same soda I'd used to stick the replacement tag on. There was something poetic about it, the cheap defeating the chic. She ended the stream 5 minutes later. No goodbye. No Q&A. Just a shaky hand reaching for the webcam and a mumbled, "Sorry guys, some technical issue." Technical issue, my ass. Now, I hadn't planned on a front row seat to her collapse, but once I saw her go live, I couldn't help myself. Call it closure. Or maybe just good entertainment. She came storming in 10 minutes later, red-faced and frantic, still in her perfectly steamed silk blouse. She didn't even look at me, just straight for the bedroom, heels clicking like accusations. A few seconds later, she came back out holding the blazer. She waved it at me like I was the one who'd been caught cheating. "This was you. You absolute jerk. Do you know what you've just done?" "Oh, I do," I said calmly. "Do you?" "You ruined everything. That contract was meant for someone who wasn't sleeping with the model," I interrupted. Guess they got confused when the stylist started styling herself right into his hotel suite. Her mouth opened, then closed. "Don't even try to deny it," I added. "I called the dry cleaner. Pretended to be Derek. They remembered you. Said you dropped off a few things for his shoot, including your blouse. The same one you told me got wine stains while organizing closet samples." Silence. "You snooped through my stuff?" she snapped. I stood up, walked to the kitchen counter, and slid her phone across the marble surface. The screen was lit up with Spotify, paused on a playlist titled Power Couple Mood Board. She froze. That was your playlist with him, right? Don't worry. I made a copy before it disappeared again. Maybe the sponsor's legal team will enjoy the full duet experience. She staggered back, suddenly unsure what to defend first. But I wasn't done. I've also informed Derek's fiancée. You know, the one whose skincare brand you were supposed to promote next month? Her knees wobbled slightly. That's not funny, she whispered. I'm not laughing. And I wasn't. Because revenge, real revenge, isn't loud. It's clinical. Surgical. Done with precision and patience. She tried to turn it on me. Claimed I was bitter. Claimed I was insecure. That I didn't understand the pressures of branding. But all her words were just static now. I'd heard the real voice, the one from her playlist, the one giggling through lyrics she once claimed were ours. I let her scream. Let her blame. Let her unravel. And while she did, I started packing. I didn't need fireworks or a grand exit. She was already imploding. All I had to do was walk away. Before I left, I set one more thing in motion. I uploaded the stream clip, Blazer, Sharp Attack, Chat Meltdown, and all to a new TikTok channel called Wardrobe Malfunctions. It got 2.7 million views by the next morning. Sponsors started dropping him. Her next scheduled panel was quietly canceled. Rumor was she cried during a brand strategy meeting. Me? I was already back at work, fixing things with actual value. Pipes don't lie. Wrenches don't cheat. And my playlist? It's got no duets. Just bass. Just drums. Just me. Subscribe to the channel